A beautiful thing about anime is how it can manage to find ways to speak to us on a deeper level. We talk about this medium so much outside of the presentation because of the way it talks to us through various messages and themes. Whether it's working through grief, a second chance, or dealing with one's self-worth, there's no limit to the potential, as it's typically something that comes from within. With that in mind, a common word we can all relate to is the idea of passion. The anime community has grown so much over the years, and the way people express that growth has managed to keep up beat for beat. Whether it be content creators, thread and article writers, cosplayers, and even reactors, we find ourselves joined in the common idea that we are all passionate about this medium. The way passion can be displayed in anime has come to bring some of the most popular series to date. Whether you're an introvert who deep down loves to play in a band, or even a volleyball player with the sights set towards greatness, we love these characters because we can relate to them. Both success and failures are things we experience in life, because not all the time will we succeed in our goals, and in many such cases we get discouraged altogether and walk away with regret. Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is an anime this season that you could tell from a mile away was going to be really good. I'm not simply talking about the fact that it's by Doga Kobo and obviously their presentation quality is high, but rather the message meant to be delivered by the title. In this day and time where judgment and social media is rampant, it is so easy to become discouraged from doing the things you love. You might put in a massive amount of hours into something only to be met with harsh critique and not what you'd ideally like to hear. Nobody is guaranteed to spare your feelings. That includes your own friends. Mahiru is a young artist that gave up on her dream after being discouraged from her friends years ago. Even though they didn't know it was her who drew this jellyfish mural, it makes it even more painful knowing that those are their true feelings. It goes without saying, but children remember those impactful moments from their childhood and they carry it as they grow. Not saying that art is exclusive to this, but from witnessing it through social media's antics, you come to understand that people do not always respect art as a form of expression. It's a type of equivalent exchange, as when you put yourself out there, you can be met with either praise or criticism, and it's not always someone's first idea to offer it in a respectable and constructive way. To add on, self-esteem and confidence will take a blow when vulnerable, and all it takes is one time for you to walk away from it for the long run. The show doesn't hold back on presenting a not so bright side about her extinguished passion, and you find yourself feeling very empathetic towards Mahiru, while the narrative keeps very relatable about the future. A lot of people, if they could, would do their passion as an occupation for the rest of their life, as who wouldn't want to do the one thing they love versus an expected job? Knowing what you want to do, who you want to be, who you do the things you do for, are all thoughts that process through the average creator's mind. The reality of it all is that some people's passions die out before reaching full potential. There's a lot of parameters that end up being out of your control, and when you end up feeling discouraged, why even subject yourself to further disappointment? Being a creator may seem like such an easy thing, but what people tend to not talk about are those various concerns in their own lives. You either sink or swim, and despite all the negative emotions you may encounter along the way, sometimes all it takes is one person to remind you that maybe your vision wasn't wrong after all. By the end of episode 1, Jellyfish extends a message to the audience that if you were to work with others, be inspired by their tenacity, to absorb the influence of light each other provide, then you'll be able to shine much brighter once more in what you love. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and when you're able to combine them and make up for what another may lack, something so much bigger can be born from the collective efforts. An illustrator for the artwork and designs, a former idol for the personality and performance, a pianist for the music, and a professional VTuber for everything video creation and promotion. These 4 girls set out for a goal they couldn't have imagined reaching individually, with a goal of 100,000 followers going under their persona known as Jelly. You can't help but be reminded of Bocchi the Rock in many cases, not because it's another all-girls group or the humor is quite entertaining, but rather the fact that it maintains a sense of relatability and triumph. See, even with a goal, the process to get there has its trials, which can range from personal hills to overcome to past events still having a grip on each other's mindsets today. One of the episodes deals with Mahiru's envy towards fan artists who are getting more praise and acknowledgement on social media while her art is getting critiqued. People going as far as to say that the fan artists themselves should be the one drawing the group avatar, and it makes her bitter. She couldn't help but to keep looking at the replies on social media, which greatly affected her own own confidence. Despite having an intimate moment to give her reassurance, there are still bitter feelings that she could not speak up about, as that ugly side is what we tend to not show. Trying to look away and pretend certain comments don't bother you is a very relatable thing, as human nature inspires curiosity. It goes back to my point about how social media can mess with us constantly. We care very much about what people have to say about us, and most importantly, the numbers are the metric we use to gauge success. How you do gauge can be entirely up to you despite the obvious metrics, but it's no secret that the feeling of being left behind and not making progress can eat you up inside, and it gradually encroaches on her behavior throughout the episode. Yet looking back at the message of absorbing the light from your peers, the motivation and kindness expressed by Kano left her with a determined drive of "I don't want to be left behind." She starts staying up deep into the night doing all types of practice and research about art techniques and improvement, not to fuel this competition that the internet makes you feel exists, but to subside her resentment and to be confident in the art that only she can draw. Comparisons are the bane of passion, as there is always somebody creating something similar to you, but it may be done better. You tend to see that a lot in the anime community, especially as you'd see a lot of people make content about the same series, but not all videos or rambles get the reception the creator would like. One of the hardest pills to swallow can be being confident with your own capabilities. It is because there's other talented people in this world that it should make you want to improve and be better, especially if your work is part of something bigger than yourself. It's okay to be frustrated with your current capabilities. It's okay to be the odd one out despite the critique you may get, or even going a different path in life when we've all been told the same thing growing up. To not have every single thing figured out in our immediate lives is natural, as even now I'm still figuring my own path out. There are going to be so many walls you face in life regardless of your age, but what you are passionate about will always be the one thing that nobody can take away from you, and just thinking about that while seeing these characters face their challenges and making their strides resonated with me deeply. When I was younger, I could only have dreamed about being a YouTuber, thinking I didn't have the personality, and here we are years later pursuing my constant yapping about my favorite medium. To be inspired or having peers that push you is such a blessing, because you never know what you're capable of until you get that dose of motivation to take that step. Whether you're an athlete, an artist, a chef, hell, even if your thing is implants, because why not? Going through the motions when it comes to reaching your hobby goals is all what it's about. Make mistakes, grow from your frustrations, pull those all-nighters, and celebrate those successes. I don't know if I'll ever reach my goal when it comes to this content creation lifestyle, but what I can say confidently is that I'm having fun doing this, and if you are somebody who has something they've been trying to explore, then this is your sign to light that fire, whether new or formerly extinguished, and go chase that passion. Don't let life go by with regrets or that inner child unhealed, and do what you always wanted to do until you're satisfied. And if anything I said today didn't hit home even just a little bit, then hopefully this dance will.
Where'd you get that body from?
I really encourage everyone to check out this anime if you've got the time. You'd be surprised how much you may see yourself in a piece of media before somebody else truly understands you, and this for sure is my choice for Gem of the Season. With that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to bring me to the end of this video. As always, thank you for coming by and listening to me yap, and make sure to leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next video.